أعوذ بالله السميع العليم. I seek refuge in the Creator of all, who hears all and knows all things, from the accursed, evil, wicked one, Lucifer, Iblis. The curse of the Creator everlastingly be upon thee, who deceived our great-grand ancestor Adam alayhi salatu wasalam through his wife at the time, Hawa alayha salatu wasalam. And I begin in His name alone. He is all merciful, He is all compassionate. I send much salutations upon the mercy of humanity, as well as all prophets from the time of the first human being, our father Adam. Peace and blessings be upon him, all the way to where the Old and New Testament mention of prophets, which is from the sublime and the sublime alone, till they reach Yeshua, known best as Jesus, the son of Mary. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all of the prophets, may the peace and blessings of the Creator be among them. Those prophets whom we know of, being that He has placed in the revelations, and those whom He has kept only known to Him. We also send salutations upon those messengers and those who aided and assisted in getting the message and uplifting it, Jibril alayhi salatu wassalam, and those others whom only Allah Jalla Jalaluhu knows. But they were those who were the ambassadors between the Creator and the Prophets alayhimu salatu wassalam, and their helpers. We have come across, and this is in reference to the recent operations, beginning with Stop Lying and the 100-day march, which were initiated in 2022. It has always been a mystery as to how and why the greatest nation in the world could not account or would not account for the atrocities within its own borders. And it saddened, as of yesterday, for all of us who are participating in the civil action against the constitutional bodies and those who aid and support a constitution which clearly enslaves the weak and the poor, whilst extracting from them whatever it is that they can, doing so and profiting over it, or profiting by these actions for decades now. From the perspective of the retired Imam's office established back in 1997, we find that all of those who are of the vision and acceptance that the King James Bible of the New and Old Testament have one preceding this edition, or one preceding this version known as the King James Version. So we're going to talk a little bit about the version of the Bible known as the Ethiopian version of the Bible, which has the books of Prophet Enoch, Idris, in Arabic, alayhi salatu wassalam. Very little is mentioned of him. In Surah Maryam, he is mentioned, as well as another mention in a different surah. However, Prophet Enoch was the great-grandson of Prophet Adam, alayhi salatu wasalam. Peace and blessings be upon them all. And he was a grandfather of Prophet Noah. Prophet Noah, very well mentioned in the Bible. Also in the Bible, Prophet Enoch is mentioned, and he actually is made reference to as walking with God. It's in Genesis somewhere. I'm not one who memorizes or retains the script of the Old and New Testament and Psalms. Yours truly is a Quranic practitioner by default. However, getting back to it, Prophet Enoch is mentioned to have walked with God in the Bible. However, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions him in Surah Maryam, the Surah of Mary. Now, why is all of this important? This is all important because as he is a prophet, revelations that were given to him, they also have a right to be in the Bible, right? Wrong. They don't have the right to be in the King James Version of the Bible because the King James Version of the Bible has taken all of this Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, Idris. They've taken out his entire book, meaning whatever revelation were given to him, they've taken it totally out of the King James Version, not the Ethiopian version, which is older than the King James Version. This is number one. King James now becomes somehow questionable. Like, who is King James? King James, what we recall being taught in Western civilization, Dr. Hilton at J. Sergeant Reynolds. Subhanallah. Remembering all of that 20-some years ago. King James was actually in charge of when and where your current day Bible is being read. One question remains. Who exactly was he? What exactly did he believe if he was not the one who actually wrote it? There is a debate. Some say that King James himself wrote the Bible, but what we recall, and this is what we're giving, first doubt benefit of the doubt, is that King James was the one who was in charge when the Bible was actually put together as we have it, as in Western countries today. But Ethiopia is different. They don't follow King James Version. They have Ethiopian version, again, older than King James Version. Now, why would you take all of his books out? I understand the Bible is a collection of books, but why would you have Noah's story in there and take his grandfather's story out, his grandfather's writings out? Why and how is that okay? However, it goes a little bit beyond that. Now, before we go to that extent, to those who do not know, Muslims have a narrative which I have made reference to, and I might as well get into it a little bit later, but now we just need to stick with King James. King James has a book called Demonology. All right. This gives you an idea of who King James was. People need to understand now who King James is for them today. Today, this Friday, the 10th of May, 2024, if any of us have any Christian relatives, friends, anyone who's seen, the image of a white male on the cross needs to listen closely, very, very, very closely to where we're going with this. King James talks about making deals with the devil in his book. King James talks about sorcery. There are many who are not aware of exactly what sorcery is. I'm not going to elaborate more. People, please look it up. What is sorcery? And King James believed in practicing. Not just the fact that he believed in magic, but he believed in practicing magic. So this is who King James was. Interestingly so, majority of monarchs today, Illuminati. Anywho, getting along with just the historical components of the situation. The prophet Enoch, also known as Idris, we went over what the collection from the Sunnah, from the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. And it does say that he was calling people to Allah, Jalla Jalaluhu. They asked of him to provide proof, which he did, that he was legitimately calling them. Accordingly, when he complied, or after he complied, they decided not to follow and listen to what he was saying. Instead of him asking Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, the Creator, to punish them, he instead asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to separate him from them. Therefore, he saw in a vision that he would be mounting in a certain area upon a mount, and this is the means that he would be separating them, or separating from them. Once he awoke and got there to the set area,